Hi everyone, this is Professor Pierre. Hope you're doing well. I wanted to make a special YouTube video just to explain the instructions for the summer term paper assignment that everyone has to do as part of the summer online class. The first draft of that paper is due on July 12th, 2020. So that's not this Friday, but next Friday, July 12th. So I wanted to put up this video, a week or a week and a half in advance so that you would have some instruction and some time to work on it. It's not a very difficult paper. It'll only be between 4 and 6 pages. Most likely your paper will be 5 pages, and it's the only term paper that you're doing in the summer class this semester. So those summer paper assignment instructions, those are already up on Blackboard. If you go to Blackboard and you go to the left side navigation menu and you click on paper assignment, you will see the paper assignment instructions right there. It will also bring up a link to a PDF, which is the same exact instructions, just in a printable format. So if you want to print it out, if you have a printer at home, you can print those instructions out and it'll format a little bit better. Let me explain to you what you're doing in this paper. Even though it's all written out in the instructions and it's step by step, very easy, sometimes it helps students if the professor just explains it a little bit. So what you're doing is you are creating like a theme exhibition on paper. So imagine that you had to create an exhibition for a museum, let's say the Metropolitan Museum of Art, and they were giving you one room with 4 walls, and they asked you to pick 4 works of art, anything you wanted, from this semester, and put those 4 works of art on the walls in that room, and you would have to write wall labels, that is text, to be placed next to each one of the artworks. So that's what the paper is. The paper is the text that explains each of the artworks that you chose for your exhibition. I have given you some direction on a theme that you can choose. So you can't just pick any 4 works of art willy-nilly, right? It has to make some kind of sense. So all 4 of the works that you choose should fit into some sort of theme. I've given you some sample themes on those instructions. So the sample themes are art and war. So that would mean you'd go through the e-textbook and you'd find 4 works of art that deal with war throughout history. Or you could do art and disease. There's some in there too for that. You could also look online for those. Art and portraiture. So you would pick 4 different portraits of 4 different people over time. You can pick landscape art. So 4 different paintings of the land over time. Art and the nude. There's quite a few beautiful nudes in the textbook that you can choose from. Portraits of heroes, so heroic images of individuals over time. That's a good one too. Or you could come up with your own theme. I had students last semester who choose their own theme, like art and religion, art and the Virgin Mary, art and Islam, things like that. And you could pick your own theme, and that's totally fine. I would say just if you pick your own theme, just email me first and tell me what that theme is, just to make sure it'll work. And maybe I can help you find some works of art in the textbook that would be most appropriate for that theme. You could also do an exhibition on a single style. So let's say your exhibition is about Renaissance art. So then your 4 works of art would be 4 different Renaissance artworks. So what you're really dealing with is an exhibition about a style, right? So that's completely up to you. You can make it easy and pick from the list, or you can come up with something on your own to make it a little bit more interesting for you, and just double check with me in case you have any questions. Once you have your theme, my advice to you is to go through the e-textbook chapter by chapter, and find works of art that you believe fit within your theme. So again, if you're doing landscape art, go to the first chapter, look for an image of the land. Go to the second chapter, the fourth chapter, the eighth chapter, and look through them and write down the artist, the title, and the date of those artworks, really the whole caption, because you're going to need that information for the paper. Another way you can do this is you could Google art and landscape in history and see what comes up in Google Images. That's a little harder because sometimes it doesn't always give you, sometimes websites are illustrated with pictures, but they don't exactly tell you what those pictures are. So you'll have to backtrack the research to find out what those things are. But I have had students who have had good luck with like Googling a theme and finding 4 appropriate works in that theme. So you can do that as well, although I highly recommend using the e-textbook because then you could also use the e-textbook for the information on those artworks. Once you find the 4 artworks that you want and you have the artist's full name, the correct title of the work, the date it was made, the material it was made out of, the style of the artwork, and if you don't know what that is, you can ask me, I'll tell you. The nationality of the artist, so were they Italian, were they African, were they Japanese, whatever. The location of the artwork, where it is right now, and then of course it fits within the theme of your exhibition. What you're going to do after you have that information is you're going to write roughly 1 to 2 pages of double-spaced text for each one of those artworks. And you're going to tell me everything you can find out about those artworks. That would mean information from the textbook, information from the web, information from the website of the museum where that artwork is. If you have trouble finding information, just email me and I can send you links to appropriate sources. And you're going to write up as much information as you can find about those 4 works. The pages, I would say you need at least a minimum of 1 full page double spaced for each artwork so that in the end of the paper you would have 4 pages. You'll probably write a little bit more than a page each. So if you did a page and a half each, that might come out to 6 or 7 pages. So it's going to be somewhere between 4 and 6 pages roughly. If you write more, that's awesome. I always like longer, better than shorter, so that's fine. In that text that you're writing about the artwork, please include the subject matter. What is the artwork about? The style, define the style. On Blackboard, I have a whole dictionary of style definitions. The history of the object, who made it, why was it made, when was it made, the historical context, what was going on at the time when that artwork was made, any biography of the artist, and I've given you a link to Oxford Art Online, which you can use to find proper bibliographies on artists, any special techniques that were used. So if it's a fresco, you've got to explain what a fresco is. If it was an oil painting, you got to explain what oil painting is. If it's a bronze cast, you got to explain what lost wax casting is, right? So as much information about the piece as you can possibly find. Once you have all 4 of those written out for all 4 of your artworks, you're going to email that text to me. You can send it either to my Gmail or my Kingsborough email. You have those emails on the syllabus. And I will, after I get them all on July 12th, I will go through them. I will make corrections. I will ask you for more information. I will edit those papers. Once I edit them, I won't put a grade on them. I'll just send them back to you on email, and you will have an opportunity to fix those papers. So the dates for when the final version is due are on Blackboard, and we can talk more about those future deadlines in Zoom or in other emails. Finally, when all the papers are up, sort of at the end of July, the corrected versions, then each of you will respond to another student's paper that are posted on Blackboard. But we can talk more about that in a separate video. The main thing for this video is to just make sure that you find those 4 artworks and write your wall label text for each of those works that fit into a theme. If you have any questions, just email me. I'm always available on email, or bring your questions to this week's Zoom meeting. We have a Zoom live office hour every Wednesday at 1 p.m. during the summer semester. So you could bring those questions, ask me those questions live, and I will answer any questions you have. If you'd like to pick 4 works and check with me before doing the writing, so you email me and you say, hey, Professor Pierre, I want to work on landscape. Here are the 4 artworks that I picked. Are these good? Should I work on these? Then I can tell you right away. And then you don't waste time writing large wall labels for artworks that maybe don't fit in the theme or maybe are not appropriate. So if you want to check your 4 artworks with me before starting, I recommend that. And that's a good way to make sure that you are not writing about things that do not fit in the paper. Anyway, thank you so much for listening. I look forward to your papers on July 12th. And again, if you have any questions, just let me know either on email or via Zoom. Thank you guys. Have a great week. Bye.